Hatch Thong, pale-faced and trembling with a mask in hand, asks Xiao Shen in a panicked, stuttering voice, How do you have the mask of the Heavenly Master? Xiao Shen, glaring with intimidating power, explains to the two frightened men the origin of the mask. It's because I am the Heavenly Master, Xiao Shen declares, his eyes fierce with lethal intent. Upon hearing this, Hatch Thong screams in terror. Xiao Shen strikes Hatch Thong with a powerful palm, sending him flying backwards to the astonishment of Sai Hua Dang. Hatch Thong collapses, kneeling on the floor. The Heavenly Master's mask falls from his hand. Hatch Thong now dies kneeling, his face ashen and mouth agape. Sai Hua Dang, witnessing Hatch Thong's swift demise, shudders, fearing a similar fate. He bows deeply to Xiao Shen, begging, Please, Heavenly Master, spare my life, I'll do anything. Sai Hua Dang pleads tearfully for mercy, but Xiao Shen is unyielding, saying death is the only answer for those who seek to harm him. Xiao Shen channels a surge of purple energy from his hand. In an instant, Sai Hua Dang collapses in agony on the floor. A purple flame-like energy emerges from Hatch Thong's body. A similar energy rises from Sai Hua Dang's body. Xiao Shen absorbs these energies using a sinister technique known as the Bone Transformation Palm, a forbidden and malevolent practice. Xiao Shen realizes that this technique should not be used unless absolutely necessary. Afterward, he carefully places the Heavenly Master's mask back into its box and closes it. Xiao Shen sits down to rest on his bed, planning his next steps now that all disturbances at the Tan Ban Gate have been dealt with. His next goal is to unify the city of Thien Nguyen, as he lies down satisfied with the current situation. Meanwhile, Lam Bok also discusses the unification of Thien Nguyen City, visibly skeptical and surprised. He talks to his master, Don Tu Luong, in his room, questioning, Master, who exactly is this Heavenly Master? Isn't this a bit much? Don Tu Luong initially ponders deeply in response to his disciple's question. He pats Lam Bok on the shoulder, saying, The Heavenly Master is a rare gift to our Tan Ban monastery. He confidently tells Lam Bok, I believe the Heavenly Master will surely unify Thien Nguyen City. Don Tu Luong suggests asking for a powerful cultivation technique from their senior, hoping it will help him reach the realm of harmony. He hands Lam Bok a red manual, the second-rank fiery palm technique, passed down from the Heavenly Master to him, now entrusted to Lam Bok with the advice to improve his cultivation before initiating any major battle. Don Tu Luong contemplates asking their senior for a cultivation technique that could help him achieve a breakthrough to the realm of harmony. Behind a curtain in the room, a blonde elder speaks to Don Tu Luong, suggesting that what they consider the realm of harmony might be trivial in the eyes of true spiritual giants. The two elders look at each other, Don Tu Luong unsure of what to say. Both sigh deeply, their expressions filled with melancholy about the current situation. Night falls over the mountain of Tanban Monastery, moonlight illuminating the leaves. In his room, Xiao Shen is restless, unable to sleep because of recent events. Xiao Shen unfolds a map to plan his next moves, thinking beyond the unification of Thien Nguyen City to taking control of the entire martial world. However, he realizes managing the vast martial world alone is challenging. He ponders Don Tu Luong's potential help but doubts his capabilities as he studies the map throughout the night. He puts down the map, rests his chin in his hand, and thinks. Although Zhang Man has great potential, he cannot involve her in such dangerous matters. He must cultivate other talents for future use. Dawn breaks, early morning light illuminating the mountains and forests. In a nearby forest, a blond boy defeats a large wolf, its body pierced by a wooden stake, lying in a pool of blood. The boy grabs something from the wolf, declaring, "Mother, I've slain the crippling wind wolf. Your illness will be cured now. I will find a way to heal you." He then vows to join the Tanban Monastery to become a true warrior, his body and clothes stained from the battle with the crippling wind wolf. Back at the Tanban Monastery, Zhang Man bursts through her room door with a radiant smile. In his room, Xiao Shen continues to sleep soundly, undisturbed by the morning light filling his room. Zhang Man comes to find him, entering Xiao Shen's room to wake him up. "Brother Xiao Shen, a new shop opened today in Thien Nguyen City. Will you come with me?" He sleepily replies, "No, what's so fun about a shop?" Zhang Man gets upset, and Xiao Shen has to laugh to appease her. All right, I'll go with you." Zhang Man joyfully hugs Xiao Shen with great affection, exclaiming, "I knew brother Xiao Shen is the best." Xiao Shen blushes at her show of affection. Together, they ride birds to the vast city of Thien Nguyen. Sitting on the bird's back, Xiao Shen thinks to himself, "It's been years since I've traveled this simply." The birds carrying passengers to Thien Nguyen city stop at a station where passengers disembark via stairs under a large canopy, greeted by a waving attendant saying, "Take your time, esteemed guests." As Xiao Shen and Zhang Man descend the stairs, she tells him, "This new shop is called Zan Feng Lu. It's said to be the largest in Thien Nguyen city, and perhaps even among the top in the martial world, definitely a place with many treasures." Xiao Shen asks Zhang Man, "What did you say? The new store is Zan Feng Lu?" Zhang Man happily replies, "Yes, Zan Feng Lu is filled with endless rare treasures, he he." Zhang Man secretly plans a surprise joy for Xiao Shen's upcoming birthday, when suddenly, a woman in a predominantly pink outfit appears behind Xiao Shen and declares, "Xiao Shen, I will surely wait for you." The mysterious woman continues, "For 1,000, 10,000 years, even if the heavenly realm ceases, I will still wait for you." Xiao Shen glances at her, noticing she seems to be from another dimension only visible to him. Xiao Shen glances and curtly dismisses her with a blunt, "Go away." Xiao Shen thinks to himself, "I underestimated my situation before. News of my tribulation failure must have quickly spread across the heavenly realm. If that bothersome Duang Yu Tao hears of it, she might cause chaos. I just hope she doesn't act rashly." Zhang Man and Xiao Shen stroll through the streets of Thien Nguyen city, reflecting on how long it's been since he last casually walked like this after achieving supreme mastery. Zhang Man points out, "Brother Xiao Shen, there's Zan Feng Lu right ahead." The street is bustling with people coming and going. Xiao Shen looks up, impressed by the grand scale of the venue. Zan Feng Lu towers high, its upper levels shrouded in mist, adding a mysterious aura. At the foot of Zan Feng Lu, a crowd gathers at the main entrance, buzzing with activity. The attendants bow deeply, ushering distinguished guests into Zan Feng Lu for a tour. Zhang Man says to Xiao Shen, "Look, brother, those people are the distinguished guests of Zan Feng Lu. Only they have the status to participate in today's top-tier auction. Ordinary visitors aren't eligible." Zhang Man adds that being unable to participate in the auction is indeed correct, as even being disciples of Tanban Monastery, without an invitation, attendance is not permitted unless their master personally attends. Xiao Shen, not quite grasping the full context, just laughs heartily. Two gentlemen ahead of them chat, one saying, "Did you hear? This auction includes a set of mystic armor crafted from star essence." The other, surprised, responds, "What, mystic armor? That's the kind that can withstand a full force attack from a peak divine realm adept. Are you crazy? Do you know how much that would cost? It seems like a very precious item." Conversely, Xiao Shen looks at her, considering, mystic armor might not be a bad idea. It could add an extra layer of safety for her. The crowd continues to move and buzz with lively discussions. Zhang Man glances lovingly at Xiao Shen, thinking to herself, if brother Xiao Shen had had this mystic armor before, he wouldn't have been ambushed. Inside Zan Feng Lu, various areas are neatly arranged into separate zones. A cultivation zone with many scrolls and manuals. A weaponry zone filled with blades and armor. The medicinal zone boasts numerous jars of precious herbs and elixirs. Zhang Man remarks to Xiao Shen, "This place is even busier than New Year's celebrations." Suddenly, something catches Xiao Shen's attention, making him exclaim aloud. She tells Xiao Shen, "Don't go over there, brother, don't look with such a shy attitude," while Xiao Shen remains calm, amused as the onlookers giggle. Some people praise the beauty of the scene, while others comment on the good but pricey offerings, their eyes wide with desire. It turns out to be a slave market, with scantily clad men and women wearing name tags, waiting to be sold. Beautiful women also lie on the floor, as the crowd buzzes with judgmental chatter. Xiao Shen crosses his arms and chuckles, "I didn't expect Zan Feng Lu still engages in the slave trade." Meanwhile, Zhang Man looks uncomfortable as Xiao Shen glances at the female slaves, turning her face away with folded arms. Despite her discomfort, Zhang Man still sees these individuals as pitiable victims. Xiao Shen reflects, in times like these, it is as it is. Adapt or be enslaved, the weak are dominated. Xiao Shen looks around and suddenly notices a woman across the way. She is a natural-born celestial body, a female slave with long brown hair and light brown robes, her green eyes contemplative as she rests her chin on her hand, a feathered hairpin adorning her forehead. Xiao Shen stares intently at the celestial woman. Zhang Man notices his focus and asks, "Brother Xiao Shen, what's wrong?" Zhang Man looks towards the girl Xiao Shen is focused on, seeing her as truly pitiable. Without a word, Xiao Shen moves forward. Zhang Man quickly asks, "Brother Xiao Shen, what are you planning to do?" Without getting an answer, Zhang Man raises her voice, "What are you going to do?" Taken aback by Zhang Man's anger, Xiao Shen stammers, still unsure of how to explain. Thinking to himself, if I buy that girl, will this little lady blow up at me? But a natural-born celestial body, that's not something I can just ignore. Meanwhile, Zhang Man is visibly furious, unable to see why Zhan Fenglu hasn't recognized the girl's innate talents like Xiao Shen has. Upon closer inspection, Xiao Shen realizes the girl is cursed. Not only are her meridians sealed, but she also won't live past 25. An elder appears and coughs to quiet the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, take a look, fresh slaves for sale here." He continues to hawk the slaves, noting the presence of beautiful women and strong male fighters among them. Standing in front of Xiao Shen and Zhang Man is a young nobleman, dressed richly and carrying himself with an air of wealth. He declares, "I want to buy one." And the person he chooses is the very celestial-bodied girl Xiao Shen had been watching. The elder at Zhan Fenglu approaches the young nobleman, complimenting his choice. "Good eye, sir. You got a knack for spotting quality. Let me tell you." Zhang Man asks Xiao Shen, "Is there something special about that girl?" Xiao Shen replies, "Her potential for cultivation is excellent. If trained properly, she could be a formidable fighter and also take care of you when I'm not around." Zhang Man, eyes wide, asks in disbelief, "Really?" Xiao Shen smiles and says, "Yes, really." He cleverly pitches it in a way to make her accept the girl. Zhang Man gives Xiao Shen a scrutinizing look. Yet, she agrees, "Then let's buy her." Xiao Shen, elated, asks, "Really?" Zhang Man happily confirms, "Yes, really." Xiao Shen, also beaming, says, "Then, brother." He is interrupted by a commotion nearby. "Isn't that Zhang Suyan, the young master from Zhongcheng in Tanchao? Wow, it's really him. What's he doing in our Thien Nguyen city?" The crowd speculates about the noble who just bid on the celestial-bodied girl. A woman with purple hair and a scorpion tattoo whispers to the odd crowd, "You haven't heard? Zhang Suyan, the young master, is here to propose marriage." The crowd reacts with amazement. "Really? That's why?" Just then, Zhang Suyan appears, impeccably dressed like a scholar. The people in the tavern gather around to admire his handsome appearance, cheering, "It's really Zhang Suyan. The young master looks so handsome." This boosts his ego, and he thinks, "Well, my reputation isn't bad. People here recognize my name." Seeing this, Zhang Man voices her concern to Xiao Shen, "I'm afraid we might not be able to buy the girl." She is visibly sad and worried. Xiao Shen, puzzled, asks, "Why? Who is this Zhang Suyan?" As he glances at him, Zhang Man earnestly explains to Xiao Shen, "Zhang Suyan is a direct disciple of a major family in Tanchao City. Unlike Thien Nguyen City, which lacks major sects, Tanchao has numerous powerful families, and the Zhang family is ranked third." Hearing this, Xiao Shen casually dismisses it, crossing his arms, "So what if he's the third son? From the way he looks, he doesn't seem all that." Zhang Man is at a loss for words seeing Xiao Shen's dismissive attitude. The crowd that had just cheered for Zhang Suyan's arrival is shocked, and some are even angry to see Xiao Shen underrate him so openly. Zhang Suyan overhears and turns around, irritated, asking, "Who said that?" Seeing the negative reactions to Xiao Shen's comment, Zhang Man quickly says, "Xiao Shen, what are you saying? To be a top family in Tanchao, you need at least 3 powerful experts." Zhang Man adds more context for Xiao Shen, explaining that to rank third, a family must have at least 10 high-level cultivators. Xiao Shen is surprised and exclaims, "That's much stronger than Thien Nguyen City?" Zhang Man replies helplessly, "Who said Thien Nguyen City was the strongest?" At that moment, a white-haired man, apparently a servant of Zhang Suyan, angrily points directly at Xiao Shen and Zhang Man and starts shouting, "Do you have a death wish? Stop discussing our young master like that." Xiao Shen, enraged by the man's audacity to point directly at Zhang Man, clenches his fist and growls at the white-haired man, "Say that again." Before the man can respond, Xiao Shen's eyes flare open, and a tremendous oppressive force emanates from him. The white-haired man freezes in place, trembling, his face pale and sweat pouring down as if he's taken a bath, overwhelmed by the oppressive sensation. The pressure is so intense that others feel compelled to kneel. Immediately, he drops to his knees before Xiao Shen, who radiates intense power and authority. Seeing his submission, Xiao Shen says, "Good, recognizing your mistake is the first step." Xiao Shen then walks away, ignoring the white-haired man who remains kneeling on the ground, face pale and sweating profusely. As he walks, Xiao Shen points at the girl and declares, "I want that girl." Now standing face to face with Zhang Suyan, Xiao Shen coldly tells him, "Find someone else." Zhang Suyan, taken aback and visibly shaken, asks, "What did you say?" Meanwhile, his entourage readies themselves for a potential conflict. Xiao Shen smiles, closes his eyes slightly, and replies, "You're not worth repeating myself to." The onlookers freeze for a moment, utterly stunned, then exclaim, "This guy is beyond help. This reckless fool is going to get himself killed." Now furious, Zhang Suyan grits his teeth and asks Xiao Shen, "Do you even know who I am in Tanchao City?" Xiao Shen casually walks past him, blatantly ignoring him, leaving Zhang Suyan brushed off in a dismissive manner. Xiao Shen approaches the portly auctioneer and declares, "I want this girl. Name your price." The auctioneer, taken aback by Xiao Shen's assertiveness, stammers, "Well, this is Meanwhile, Zhang Suyan, having been coldly dismissed by Xiao Shen, curses in frustration. The slave girl, being auctioned in the tavern, is shocked that someone would want to buy her despite the dispute with Zhang Suyan. Furious, Zhang Suyan turns and yells at Xiao Shen, "You scoundrel! You're oppressing people too much." But suddenly, he feels something is off. He crosses his arms and ponders, "There's no way anyone would be this foolish to confront me, knowing I'm from the Zhang family, without a reason." Zhang Suyan continues to brood, "I get it now. He's playing dumb, acting like a pig to eat a tiger. No, wait, that's not it. Is someone setting me up? Is it the Chu family or the Wang family?" He continues his train of thought, a cold sweat breaking out on his forehead. Or maybe there's another possibility. This guy doesn't know how the world works. He imagines Xiao Shen as a naive fool, capable of embarrassing himself, and sneers at the thought. Right, a naive fool wouldn't strategize against me. But then he dismisses that thought. Wait, maybe being naive is exactly the kind of disguise someone would use to pull off a con. He dismisses another thought, stroking his chin. No, that's too simple. If I can think of it, so can others. They must be trying to trap me into making a mistake. He rejects his previous notion and looks at the beautiful Zhang man, thinking, maybe this guy is just trying to show off in front of the lady. Looking at the beautiful Zhang man, he drools a bit and thinks, wait, even though I came here to propose, acquiring a concubine wouldn't be a bad choice. He then dismisses that thought too, shaking his head, looking back and forth between Xiao Shen and Zhang man, wondering, maybe I should eliminate him first to win her over? Considering murdering Xiao Shen, he suddenly thinks, this must be a trap to get me to commit a crime here in Thien Nguyen City, to catch me off guard. After much internal debate, Zhang Suyan smirks, sure of his deductions, and points directly at Xiao Shen, shouting, you're trying to get me to kill you, but don't think I haven't seen through your plot, fool. You got a lot to learn. Hearing this, Xiao Shen, unfazed, crosses his arms and wonders aloud, what is this fool talking about? Xiao Shen continues to dismiss Zhang Suyan, turning to the flustered auctioneer and repeating, I don't like to repeat myself. The auctioneer, caught between a rock and a hard place, stutters, this. Meanwhile, Zhang Suyan is left speechless. But then Zhang Suyan points aggressively at Xiao Shen again, shouting, you dare ignore me? Enraged, Zhang Suyan clenches his teeth, thinking he must provoke Xiao Shen to react. He must be trying to anger me. Well, I won't fall for it. As Zhang Suyan contemplates this and laughs to himself, Xiao Shen wonders if his brain is alright, noting his erratic behavior. The slave girl suddenly behaves strangely, clenching her teeth and growling, which catches Xiao Shen's attention. She suddenly stands up and growls at Xiao Shen, who merely glances at her and grunts in response. Xiao Shen then casts a commanding glance at her, smiling with a powerful aura. Overwhelmed by Xiao Shen's intense gaze, the slave girl trembles, her face pale and sweating profusely, barely managing to gasp out a sound. She then collapses into submissive tears, crying softly. Without wasting any more time, Xiao Shen tosses a bag of money towards the portly auctioneer and states, this should cover it. Keep the change. The auctioneer is stunned by this bold move, barely managing to gasp in surprise. To expedite the transaction, Xiao Shen decisively throws a pouch of coins at the auctioneer, declaring, "This should suffice, no need for change." The auctioneer, completely taken aback, is left speechless by Xiao Shen's action. Then, Xiao Shen turns his gaze directly to the slave girl, spreads his hands, and says, "I will take you away from here." The girl gasps in response. Just then, another figure appears, exclaiming, "Hold on a second." He is accompanied by several disciples, but it's unclear which sect they belong to. As he approaches, he immediately recognizes Zhang Suyan and moves closer, saying in a friendly tone, "Isn't this young Master Zhang? What a surprise to see you here." Zhang Suyan remains silent for a moment. This newcomer quickly turns and points aggressively at Xiao Shen, shouting, "You dare to compete with our young Master Zhang? You must not value your life. Leave now." Then, the sharp-faced man smirks triumphantly and warns, "If not, I'll teach you a lesson." Xiao Shen remains calm and collected, arms crossed, and retorts, "Here's another one who isn't afraid of dying." Witnessing this, Zhang Suyan freezes momentarily, then wonders internally, "Who is this guy? Why haven't I seen him before? He seems to admire me." He scrutinizes the sharp-faced man from head to toe, suspiciously. Thinking this, Zhang Suyan smirks contentedly, plotting in his head, "Perfect timing. Though I can't act directly, I can use someone else to handle this little troublemaker." But suddenly, Zhang Suyan's expression changes. He frowns, his eyes turning icy as he mutters, "Something's not right." Zhang Suyan continues to ponder, tugging at his hair and suddenly shouting in realization, "I've got it." Immediately, Zhang Suyan points at the sharp-faced man and loudly declares, "The truth can only be. You two are in cahoots. This lowly mortal dares to provoke me. Your true aim must be to force me to act, making it easy for the other two major families to plot against me," Zhang Suyan accuses, glaring at the newcomer. The sharp-faced man is shocked, barely managing to stutter a response. Zhang Suyan continues to analyze the situation with his arms crossed. "My cultivation level is at the pinnacle of divine prowess. If I were to lose my temper and act, your death would be certain. Although the conspiracy succeeds, losing a life over it is not worth it. So, you two have staged this drama. To outsiders, it might seem like the minor clans are hurting you, allowing the major families to clear themselves of any wrongdoing. But in reality, you two are together, letting him act just to save your own skin. If this guy isn't called Sherlock Holmes, it's a waste of talent. His deductions are too intricate, leading the story in a completely different direction." Zhang Suyan gestures a thumbs down, smirking confidently, "You thought you could deceive me with your plans? Although impressive, they won't fool me." Xiao Shen is speechless at Zhang Suyan's erratic and unstable deductions. The onlookers, including an elderly, balding man with white hair, are baffled. "Though we don't understand what he's saying, young Master Zhang must be right." Another from the odd crowd agrees, "Yes, young Master Zhang speaks well." The sharp-faced man hastily tries to explain to his master, "I don't understand what he means, but I support him," his voice trembling. Overhearing this, Zhang Suyan appears somewhat childish, his temper flaring slightly. Then Zhang Suyan closes his eyes, waves his hand coldly at the sharp-faced man, and says, "Shut up. I have nothing to do with you." The sharp-faced man's realization hits him like a self-inflicted blow. Observing this, Xiao Shen comments from the sidelines, "Are all the people from Tanchao City this crazy? Arguing with such a person is truly a waste of time." Zhang Man and the slave girl behind him are also speechless at Zhang Suyan's antics. Turning back to the slave girl, Xiao Shen gazes at her and declares, "From now on, you belong to me. Will you accept me as your master?" The slave girl, feeling indignant, growls softly in response. However, Xiao Shen then exerts his intimidating presence, staring sternly at the slave girl who immediately becomes docile like a puppy, nodding in agreement with a soft whimper. Xiao Shen then coldly takes the girl's hand and commands, "Follow me." The girl, still dazed, hardly comprehends what is happening. Just then, Zhang Suyan raises his hand to interrupt, shouting, "Wait." He then forcefully throws a pouch of money down. The sound of the pouch hitting the ground is so loud that it causes Xiao Shen and his companions to stop in their tracks. With arms crossed and a smug look, Zhang Suyan casually tells the auctioneer, "In business, the highest bidder wins." This pouch contains 10 gemstones, worth about 10,000 gold coins. The portly auctioneer's eyes light up at the sight of the spirit stones. Drool practically forms at his mouth as he lusts after them, exclaiming, "Good heavens, 10,000 gold." With a cold expression, Zhang Suyan continues, "You must sell her to me, auctioneer." Xiao Shen remains silent, merely glancing over without any visible reaction. The plump auctioneer, holding the bag of spirit stones, is excited yet somewhat nervous, sweating as he says, 10,000 gold. But this slave girl is only priced at 300 gold. The onlookers are stunned by the bid, exclaiming, 10,000 gold for her? Truly, young Master Zhang is generous. Even Zhang Man can't help but express her astonishment, 10,000 gold. The portly auctioneer, seeing the money, lights up and humbly approaches Xiao Shen to negotiate. Of course, I'm in business to sell to the highest bidder. The auctioneer then gestures towards Zhang Suyan and says, so, this slave girl must now be sold to young Master Zhang. Zhang Suyan, feeling smug, places his hands on his hips and smiles cryptically, thinking to himself, you wanted to provoke me to act rashly, but I will use legitimate means to deal with you. He puffs his cheeks, flushed with excitement. I'm a genius to think of this. Zhang Man, worried, turns to Xiao Shen and says, Brother Xiao Shen, 10,000 gold is too much. Even our master wouldn't easily spend such an amount. Xiao Shen remains silent amid the unfolding events. Zhang Suyan confidently approaches the slave girl and Xiao Shen, saying, you should follow me, little sister. Xiao Shen must have something planned. Seeing the slave girl remain silent, Zhang Suyan boldly grabs her hand, causing her to gasp in surprise. He looks at the slave girl with a victor's smile and says, spending 10,000 for a slave girl isn't worth it, but considering the delicate beauty of this young one, who is sure to become a stunning beauty, it's a worthwhile investment. At this point, Xiao Shen finally speaks up, asking coldly, how much for the great martial technique? Hearing this, Zhang Suyan stops in his tracks, and the atmosphere grows tense. The crowd murmurs, did he just mention the great martial technique? Did we hear that right? Zhang Man is also shocked and asks Xiao Shen, brother, what did you just say? Xiao Shen does not reply to Zhang Man but instead stares intently at Zhang Suyan and demands, answer me. Zhang Suyan's face goes pale, and he begins sweating profusely. Zhang Suyan then responds to Xiao Shen, how can the great martial technique be compared to money? Even the best techniques from my Zhang family. Zhang Suyan is about to reveal more when suddenly he is startled by a noise from his stomach, exclaiming in surprise. He sweats profusely, clenching his teeth, thinking, why am I automatically responding to his questions? I almost revealed internal secrets of the Zhang family. Anxiously, he swallows hard, his sweat pouring like he's taken a bath. Zhang Suyan regains his composure and explains to Xiao Shen, if you really want to use a late bid, then a first-grade earth martial technique starts at 30,000 gold. Higher grades cost even more. Xiao Shen bluntly states, I'll exchange a first-grade earth martial technique for this slave girl. The portly auctioneer is so surprised by this offer that he gasps loudly, unable to form words. The onlookers, half hearing the conversation, mockingly laugh, ha ha, just a first-grade technique? They then sense something is off and start murmuring among themselves, first-grade earth level? Realizing the gravity, they suddenly exclaim in shock, what? A first-grade earth martial technique just to trade for a slave girl? Hearing this, Zhang Suyan is also astonished and points accusingly at Xiao Shen, are you out of your mind? Do you even understand what an earth-grade martial technique signifies? A mysterious figure on the second floor, who has been observing everything, remarks, isn't that guy from Tanvan Monastery? An earth-grade technique? He then bursts out laughing, saying to a servant next to him, ha, don't tell me your entire Tanvan Monastery is too stingy to part with a single earth-grade technique. Youthful bravado often leads to boasting. Before the young man can finish his offer, the tavern owner glances at him coldly and says, no need. Let's wait until they actually cause trouble. Then we can show them what Zan Feng Tavern really stands for. Hearing this, the young man nods obediently and acknowledges the instruction. Xiao Shen explains, I don't actually have the earth-grade technique with me now. I will have someone deliver it tomorrow. The owner of Zan Feng Tavern is dumbfounded and can only gasp in response. Then Xiao Shen says to Zhang Man and the slave girl, let's go. Zhang Suyan laughs loudly, ha, I thought you actually had an earth-grade technique. Turns out you were just bluffing and don't even carry it with you. Zhang Man then grabs Xiao Shen's hand and says, brother Xiao Shen, the earth-grade technique. Xiao Shen pats her on the head and reassures her, don't worry, I have it covered. Seeing this, a man suddenly leaps forward to intervene, shouting, hold on, young man. Thinking to himself, I am absolutely loyal to young Master Zhang, he loudly declares, dared to steal from young Master Zhang? You don't want to live anymore. Jiang Suyen stands smugly, thinking, finally, he acts. This will surely injure that young fool, and our plan will succeed. I just clarified that this man does not belong to us. The aggressive man then charges at Xiao Shen with a raised fist. As he nears, a powerful force stops him, preventing him from reaching Xiao Shen. He trembles, wondering, what strange power is this that keeps me at bay? With a steely gaze, Xiao Shen turns around to look. The aggressive man has been wounded by Xiao Shen's technique, groaning in pain as he spits out blood. The bystanders are confused, murmuring among themselves about what happened, thinking it must be some sort of sorcery. Even Jiang Suyen is frightened, thinking to himself about the terrifying aura. Despite having faced many fears, he has never felt this frightened before. He wipes the sweat from his face, wondering, who exactly is this person? The tavern owner, observing from above, also sweats profusely. Such a strong aura. Even as a 9th-level divine practitioner, I feel no courage to resist. He is relieved that he did not provoke Xiao Shen earlier. After the aggressive man is seriously injured, Xiao Shen, Zhang Man, and the slave girl, Tiu Sai, leave. She looks at Xiao Shen and says, "Brother Xiao Shen, since you woke up, you seem different." Before she can finish, Xiao Shen pats her head and interrupts, "Don't overthink it." As they walk down a street, they pass a stall selling delicious and inexpensive cinnamon rolls, which captivates the slave girl's attention. Enticed by the aroma, she stops and cries out in delight. Xiao Shen, seeing this, pulls her away forcefully. She is jerked forward by the leash around her neck, protesting loudly. Angered, she charges towards Xiao Shen. Xiao Shen's face turns red with anger, and he yells, "Shut up. If you don't listen, you'll get it." She immediately becomes docile like a puppy and cowers in fear. Zhang Man finds this amusing and teases, "This girl is quite interesting. Can't you talk?" The girl shows her anger and turns away abruptly. Xiao Shen picks up an object and says, "It's finally starting." Zhang Man, not understanding, asks, "Brother Xiao Shen, what's starting?" He smiles and replies, "Nothing, let's continue our walk." Zhang Man, energized and cheerful, shouts, "All right then." The sect leader of Divine Sword declares, "Tanban Monastery has insulted our honor. Today, we will cleanse them with blood." The disciples echo in unison, "Cleanse Tanban Monastery with blood, cleanse Tanban Monastery with blood." Tan Nhieu Kok's leader, along with Mihun Coc, joins in the declaration to cleanse Tanban Monastery. Liat Tong's leader and his disciples also shout, "Cleanse Tanban Monastery with blood." A voice thunders, "Useless." Jiang Suyen falls silent, unable to respond. Jiang Suyen's grandfather scolds him, "It's just Thien Nguyen City and you're already scared like this." At this point, Jiang Suyen finally speaks up to defend himself, "Grandfather, it's not that I'm scared, but that young man is truly very strong, you know. The aura he emits is something I've only ever felt from you," he added. His grandfather remained silent upon hearing this. After a moment, his grandfather continued, "You are still my grandson, yet you lack the discernment. You let yourself be deceived. That young man must have a magical item that boosts his presence. Even though you are at the pinnacle of the divine realm, to be overwhelmed by mere presence, he would need to be at least at the ascension realm. Thien Nguyen City is weak. Besides the immortal of Divine Sword Peak, there are hardly 3.5 decent cultivators combined. If that youngster is as young as you say, how could he possibly be at the ascension realm?" At that realization, Jiang Suyen muttered, "Indeed." Then his grandfather said, "Mud cannot be used to plaster a wall, Suyen. Today I have another task for you to undertake," to which he quickly replied, "Please instruct me, grandfather. I've just received word from our clan headquarters that we need to eliminate a sect and take one person from there. This task is yours. I will assign Elder Fong to assist you." He accepted the mission his grandfather assigned, but his face showed concern as he asked, "May I know which sect requires Elder Fong's involvement?" He thought to himself, Elder Fong achieved ascension over 10 years ago and is known for his relentless focus on cultivation. After his breakthrough to the second level of ascension 3 years ago, he went into seclusion again. His current power might well be at the third level of ascension. His grandfather turned away silently for a moment. Then he said just 3 words, "Tanban Monastery." At Mount Tanban, flags of various factions appeared. Yu Tanba, the leader of Divine Sword Peak, and Huo Liat, the leader of the Fiery Sect, along with many other leaders, were present. The gate guards of Tanban Monastery saw them arrive and hurried to report to their sect master. The disciples of Tanban Monastery were panicked and frightened. What's going on? Why are the three major powers at our gate? I haven't even married yet, I don't want to die. Brother, don't be scared, we still have the Heavenly Lord. A senior brother cursed, damn, the three major forces are out in full. Even the Heavenly Lord won't save us now. The three leaders stood outside the gate shouting, Dao Tu Liang, come out or we'll force our way in. The disciples of Yang Sword retorted, don't come any closer. Finally, their sect master appeared. Dao Tu Liang walks forward with two elders and other disciples toward the challengers. Seeing them approach, Yu Tanba threatens, Dao Tu Liang, today is the day we obliterate Tanban Monastery. Dao Tu Liang surveys the scene, noting that there are no less than 10 peak divine realm practitioners present. Each one radiates a formidable aura, ready for battle. Huo Liat speaks up, Dao Tu Liang, we heard you've tamed someone called the Heavenly Lord. Bring him out. Today, we three great forces intend to make him perish. As he speaks, he points aggressively downward. Dao Tu Liang laughs dismissively, ha ha. You think you can just summon the Heavenly Lord as you please? At that moment, Dao Tu Liang suddenly remembers, wait, isn't the senior supposed to be back by now? Meanwhile, Xiao Shen and his companions are still strolling through the bustling street. Zhang Man playfully speaks to Xiao Shen, Brother Xiao Shen, I'm having so much fun today. Xiao Shen pats Zhang Man's head and replies, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. Their close relationship surprises the slave girl nearby. Then Xiao Shen says, why don't you take her for a walk first? I have some things to handle. I'll catch up later. Before leaving, he warns the slave girl to behave and listen to her sister, or face consequences. She meekly nods in agreement. Zhang Man adds, by the way, there's a tavern in Thien Nguyen City with great food. I'll find us a spot there so we can have dinner ready when you return. Xiao Shen cheerfully agrees, okay, wait for me to finish up here and I'll join you for dinner. Xiao Shen sends a message to Dao Tu Liang via a jade communicator, hold them off for an hour, I'll be back. Dao Tu Liang, receiving the message, panics, thinking, they have nearly a dozen peak divine realm practitioners. How can I hold them off? Sweat pours down his face. He sighs worriedly. Then he tells the attackers, I give you one final chance to submit to Tanban Monastery. Think it over for an hour. His disciples are stunned, whispering, wait, did he just say to submit to us? Didn't we misunderstand? Yu Tanba is momentarily bewildered. His head suddenly snaps up, his anger evident. He points directly at Dao Tu Liang, declaring, I see you're truly insane. Give us an hour? Ha ha ha, no need for that. I'll tell you now. Today, we will definitely destroy Tanban Monastery. The masters of various sects also speak up. One of them says, Dao Tu Liang, that so-called Heavenly Lord manipulated by the Heavenly Masters, what tricks did they use on you? Relying solely on Tanban Monastery, you dare to speak of unity among the three sects? Even if it's just the Mihun Kok, you are not enough to shake us, another adds. You are indeed too ambitious, chimes in the fiery sect leader of the Liat Din Monastery, his tone dripping with disdain, his eyebrows furrowed. Dao Tu Liang remains composed. Your predecessors, the Heavenly Masters, are beyond your imagination if you refuse to submit willingly. Don't blame me for being impolite. With that, his expression turns fierce, his eyes sharp and filled with murderous intent. He shouts loudly, prepare yourselves. He and his two elders begin to unleash their techniques, preparing for battle. Seeing this, Tanba grits his teeth in anger. Enough. Let's start the fight, he commands. Dao Tu Liang bellows, all right, then. Let's begin. He raises two fingers, indicating the appearance of arcane circles of power. The masters of various sects also showcase their techniques, displaying their prowess. The fiery sect leader also starts to execute his moves, speaking nonchalantly, seemingly underestimating his own strength. Both sides are now readying themselves for combat. Dao Tu Liang and his disciples step back. He shouts, let the battle begin. In an instant, bands of mystical light materialized in the sky, enveloping the Lei Tan Van Mon like a barrier of magic against the three great powers. The musician Tan Ba's eyes widened in astonishment. The other two were equally taken aback. A voice piped up, what in the world is going on, Luong? Even the disciples of Tan Van Mon were puzzled, asking, what is this? With a determined grin, Don Tuong Luong addressed Tan Ba. Don't think for a moment that I won't risk my life with you. This true Tian Grand formation is Tan Van Mon's mightiest enchantment. I'm eager to see if you can break it. Tan Ba burst into laughter, ha ha. So, you're not backing down? Quite the challenger. It's like your image, a black turtle withdrawing its head. Let's see how long your spell can hold against mine. He began taunting, retreating without a fight? Fits your black turtle persona perfectly. Let's see how long your enchantment can shield you. Tan Nu added, this delaying tactic, Luong, is a strategic move. If I'm not mistaken, where's that supreme being? But whether they arrive or not, they won't save this Tan Van Mon. He then pointed forward and commanded everyone, all forces, unleash your full might. Attack the Lei Tan Van Mon. The disciples of the Sword Immortal sect, upon hearing the command, began transitioning their techniques. Other sects also stepped forward one by one, combining their forces to break through the true Tian formation of Tan Van Mon. After pooling their strength, they launched a massive assault on the formation, resulting in a tremendous explosion and thick smoke. Once the dust settled, the formation remained intact. Don Tu Luong asked, what now? Tan Ba's response held a hint of amusement. I do wonder if your formation can withstand the might of a supreme being. Then all the other sect leaders gathered their power to form a collective spell. This gathered force surged mightily, hurtling towards the true Tian formation. They were trying to break through Don Tu Luong's spell. Facing such a powerful assault, yet the true Tian formation still emanated a formidable aura. After a while, the attacking spell was dissolved by the true Tian formation. A disciple of Tan Van Mon exclaimed in surprise, the formation is holding strong. Don Tu Luong thought to himself, our master passed down this spell, claiming it was impregnable. Under the Tao's unity, no one could break it, only hoping to withstand it for a while. Elders, you must hurry back. The disciples of Tan Van Mon, seeing their formation withstand the assault, taunted, you can't break through the true Tian formation? Come on then. Some even dared to moon us, challenging, come and get us if you can. Why not come in and cleanse Tan Van Mon? The onlookers outside fumed, you're so tough? Get out here, we'll crush you, a bunch of cowards, like turtles hiding in their shells. Tan Ba found Tan Van Mon's formation indeed intriguing. Then he said to Liat Hua and Tan Nu, let's go. The three of them began to unleash their powers. Tan Ba wielded a sword with immense energy, Liat Hua's presence was imposing, and Tan Nu's aura was captivating, truly living up to their supreme being status. Then they charged together towards the true Tian formation to attack. Don Tu Luong inside couldn't help but marvel at the sheer terror of the power. Nyok Tan Ba continued to command the attack. Other sect leaders immediately unleashed their techniques. This time, an even greater surge of energy rushed forward to break the formation. The formation immediately began to crack under the pressure. Inside, Don Tu Luong felt uneasy. Nyok Tan Ba executed his bloodsword technique. This move of his officially shattered the true Tian formation. The disciples of Tan Van Mon panicked. This time, we're done for. What now? Nyok Tan Ba chuckled triumphantly, ha ha. Killing spree. Blood purge of Tan Van Mon. Don Tu Luong roared out the command. All disciples of Tan Van Mon, heed the order. Welcome the enemy. The disciples of Tan Van Mon immediately charged forward. The disciples of the three sects also rushed into battle. Their most powerful techniques unleashed, the sounds of battle echoed deafeningly. Liat Diem Tong's figure alone took down two opponents, while he below wielded potent fire to deal with countless others. Tan Nu utilized his mesmerizing techniques to ensnare and confuse the enemies. They lightly touched the faces of their enemies, then sucked out their souls. Immediately, those ensnared turned into lifeless husks. The battle grew increasingly tense. A figure dashed from behind, an elder of Tan Van Mon inwardly lamenting, yet another peak stage transcendental expert coming to end my life. True to prediction, he lunged forward and punched him in the face. Following that were a series of powerful blows that sent the elder stumbling backward. On another front, Don Tu Luong and Nyok Tan Ba were locked in combat. Their powers evenly matched. After a fierce exchange, Don Tu Luong seemed to weaken. Nyok Tan Ba laughed loudly, you're too weak, Tan Van Mon scum. Then, with his own power, he blasted Don Tu Luong away. He was sent flying and crashed to the ground. He struggled to his feet, clutching his chest, wheezing from the injury. Before he could rise, Nyok Tan Ba charged forward, delivering a powerful blow and then stomping his face into the ground. Nyok Tan Ba triumphantly declared, Don Tu Luong of Tan Van Mon, you're finished. Don Tan Luong retorted defiantly. He gritted his teeth in anger, how can you laugh? Are you mad? Don Tu Luong clenched his teeth in pain. Finally, you've arrived, master. The image of Tiu then appeared, bringing tears of relief to his eyes at last. Nyuk Ton Ba, surprised, asked, "What's going on?" They gazed up in astonishment and queried, "Who is that?" Tiu then crossed his arms confidently and declared, "Kneel and pledge your allegiance, or face death." Don Tu Luong, upon seeing this, exclaimed, "Master, you finally arrived." The elder of Tan Ban Mon also struggled to lift his head. "Supreme beings, you've finally come." Then he coughed hoarsely. The disciples rejoiced at the sight of Tiu Than. The revered masters have arrived. One voice doubted, "Can this supreme being really stand against so many?" While another affirmed decisively, "He surely can." Nyuk Ton Ba spoke up, "Are you the so-called Chu Thien Tun? Are you brave enough to remove your mask?" Liat Diem Tong added, "Indeed, take off your mask, and let us see which wretched creature you are." Tiu then chuckled, "Even if you wanted to see me unmasked, it's not impossible." An Ba's music blasted out, and he exclaimed. The spirit descended from above slowly. He landed gently on the ground. Standing before them, he said, "I'll stand here. If you have the guts to take off my mask, then come and try it." Names Tan Ba chuckled first, "Haha, so ambitious. Let's see." Then he advanced toward the spirit. Immediately, he was forced back by a compelling force and had to stop. The leader of Liat Diem sect saw him standing still and said, "Nyuk Ton, since you're not moving, then I'll make my move." With that, he rushed forward, shouting loudly, "Kid, prepare to meet your end." Nyuk Ton Ba silently thought, Don Tu Luong is considered a hero in his own right. If he's willing to submit, it shows that even these celestial beings have some cunning. I can't overturn the boat in the ditch. The leader of Liat Diem sect intended to strike the spirit with a single blow, but was restrained by his internal force. Then the spirit said coldly, "If you want to die." And with that, he wielded the Thuong Kung, sending him flying far away. Those around were also affected by the Thuong Kung's swing. Nyuk Ton Ba thought to himself, "This technique is truly terrifying. What level is this? Earthly grade? That fam? Bat fam?" The leader of Liat Diem sect took a full blow from the Thuong Kung. His appearance looked utterly pitiful, like he was dying. The disciples of Tan Ban Mon exclaimed, "Admire the predecessors of the celestial beings. Such strength, impressive." The spirit advanced. With just one finger, he lightly pressed against the forehead of the leader of Liat Diem sect. Immediately, he fell backward and lost consciousness. The spirit moved forward and said to the remaining people, "You all come along." Nyuk Ton Ba gritted his teeth angrily, "You're the one saying that. Everyone, attack together." Then, they all shouted and rushed forward, seeking revenge for their sect master. Only Tan Nu Kok's sect master didn't join in. She said disdainfully, "Taking on many enemies at once, and you still want to fight? Such shameful behavior, count me out." Don Tu Luong, seeing this, also felt indignant and spoke up, "Nyuk Ton Ba, I didn't expect you to be such a despicable person. Dealing with someone like you, do you still want face?" He smirked cunningly and replied, "Wait for you all to die here, then who knows?" Facing the attack of the three sect disciples, the spirit still stood, arms folded, confidently saying, "Impressive." A swift kick took out one of them. Next came a powerful punch to the chest. The hefty guy with something big in his hand, agilely dodged. The spirit spun him like a top. Then, a hand gripped his face. He fell, his head hitting the ground. The hefty guy fell down with a thud. He cried out in agony. Unexpectedly, the guy behind tried to sneak attack the spirit. The spirit immediately turned back and said, "Relying on sneak attacks, huh?" A blast of divine power sent him flying before he could react. The leader of Liat Diem sect, upon regaining consciousness, launched an attack. He shouted fiercely, "Accept your death." This is Liat Diem sect's ultimate skill. Liat Diem Divine Strike. The spirit glanced at him and said sarcastically, "Impressive, huh?" With a gentle dodge, the spirit avoided his strike, leaving him cursing in frustration. Then, he delivered a kick, sending the guy spinning. And he crashed to the ground. This time, he added another punch to the chest, sending him deeper into the ground. The spirit chuckled, "Enjoying your nap down there? Who said you could get up? I know a strike technique from the heavens, but it's not as weak as you," he continued. Seeing others being defeated by the spirit, Nyuk Ton Ba began to employ his sect's secret technique. He said, "Let's see if you can withstand this one." Van Kiem Kai Tong. He soared high, swords forming whirlwinds. This Van Kiem Kai Tong was a martial art from the earthly grade, unstoppable by lower-level opponents. He boldly declared, "Your death is imminent." Then a barrage of sharp swords flew toward the spirit. Witnessing this, the other disciples were astounded. Van Kiem Kai Tong, the swords of gods. Is this the divine sword? Surely the celestial beings are doomed. The spirit sneered, Van Kiem Kai Tong? You dare speak of it as if the sword master could see it. If the sword master witnessed your Van Kiem Kai Tong, he'd be ashamed to death. The swords continued their onslaught. The spirit immediately employed the celestial shield technique. A giant hand appeared. With just a squeeze, the swords shattered into pieces. The heavenly spirit stands tall, looking up at the provocative Sanching music with a challenging look. The celestial demon's power, the territorial realm, and the 3 realms can break your 10,000 sword chi sect. This shows how shabby your swordsmanship is. The heavenly spirit keeps taunting, making the Sanching music furious and red in anger. He angrily cursed and thought in his head, this fiery guy really has few tricks. Even the 10,000 sword chi sect can't do anything to me. But the real terror of the 10,000 sword chi sect is not there. Thinking of this, the Sanching music smiled cunningly. I wonder what this old fellow will do next. He looked down at the celestial spirit standing in front of him with a raised eyebrow and a cunning smile. He laughed and raised his middle finger at him. Fight me, you celestial lord. This old fella is very pleased. Maybe he doesn't know who he's facing. Soon this old fella will cut off his tail. The celestial spirit heard that and made a sound. Under his feet were broken swords. Immediately after, a series of sharp throwing knives flew towards the celestial spirit. The celestial spirit was passive and couldn't react. His blood spilled. Then the celestial spirit fell back to dodge the other throwing knives. Sanching music saw the celestial spirit injured and laughed triumphantly. He looked like he had just won the lottery. The people from the Duan sect were extremely worried. Duan Tulu had a drop of sweat. He said, Senior, that's the invisible divine needle. Duan Tulu stepped forward to confront the Sanching music and questioned, Sanching music, why did you use the invisible divine needle to sneak attack and bully? Sanching music heard that and replied coldly, didn't expect that I still have this trick. The invisible divine needle can't hide from me within 100 steps. This time the celestial lord will die for sure. At this point, the celestial spirit had fallen down with blood flowing. That's it, the end. Seeing this, the readers were extremely angry and wanted to unfollow the author. This made the comic artist cry tears of frustration. The main character, Lao Dai, was completely ruined by him. How can we continue the drawing? The only one who can defeat the main character raised his hands to his chest and looked calmly at the laptop screen. At this moment, he realized that something was wrong. The main character hasn't regained his peak yet and hasn't married a beautiful wife. How can he die now? No, this is wrong. The script is wrong. Let's redo it. Oh, finally, the only one who can defeat the main character has brought him back to life. The script has changed. The invisible divine needle stabbed directly into the celestial spirit's head, leaving everyone stunned. The author is typing on the laptop screen, continuing the story of the celestial spirit. Duan Tulu was about to be attacked by the celestial music when he fortunately noticed the celestial spirit. Huh, he exclaimed. However, the celestial spirit couldn't avoid being hit by the invisible divine needle, causing an explosion on his face. Duan Tulu saw this and became extremely worried, sweating profusely. The Sanching music was extremely pleased and laughed. The disciples of the Sword Chi sect cheered in delight. Long live the sect's master. Our sect's master is invincible. Wait, this doesn't seem right, we're only on chapter 51. Let's sue the author now. Then the Sanching music pointed his finger at Duan Tulu's face and haughtily said, do you see this? This is where you belong, you worthless trash. You're not worthy of dying by my hand. Huh, Sanching music, wait for the lawsuit from the author. Your old fellow will taste the consequences. Thank goodness, the celestial spirit is here now, and I don't have to sue the author anymore. The celestial spirit at this moment didn't have a scratch on his body. He scratched his head calmly and asked, what are you guys doing? Why do I feel a bit itchy? The Sanching music's face turned pale when he heard that. Duan Tulu breathed a sigh of relief. I thought I was dead. The Sanching music was furious and burst out. Why doesn't my invisible divine needle hurt you even a bit? Who are you? Oh, haha, I won't let you see through me. How amazing, it seems you have some talent. The celestial spirit heard that and didn't bother to say anything, just rolled his eyes and laughed. Then he took a step closer to the Sanching music, making him panic and step back. You, don't come any closer, the Sanching music stuttered, unsure of what this person was capable of. At this point, the celestial spirit raised his hand in a gesture and said, I'll give you a chance to fight me." Hearing this from the celestial spirit himself, the Sanqing music stood frozen for 5 seconds before shouting out. Seeing him frozen for so long, the celestial spirit repeated, "I'll say it once again. Fight me." Hearing that, the Sanqing music was extremely angry. He raised his fist and said in a fierce tone, "You are going too far. Even if you stand still, I won't be able to hurt you." The celestial spirit at this moment stood with folded arms and a calm expression. He exclaimed, "Oh, so you can see through me. That's right, there's a bit of talent." Duan Tulu heard that and was a bit afraid of this person's powerful strength. Truly the pinnacle of prowess, amazing. Excellent job, celestial spirit. The flame of anger within the Sanqing music was burning. He gritted his teeth and said, "I will kill you. I will kill you." Then the Sanqing music jumped back, surprising the celestial spirit who made a sound. As a result, he summoned his destined sword, a gigantic sword. I think if he can't defeat the celestial spirit, the Sanqing music should become a YouTuber like Ba Tan Vei Lok. After summoning his destined sword, he confidently said, "Celestial lords, this is the divine sword of my destiny, the most unique and unparalleled sword in the heavens and earth. Today, I will show you the price of arrogance and self-importance." Then he bit his tongue, and blood flowed out. He used his own blood to anoint the holy sword. The holy sword was now emitting a powerful force. Then the Sanqing music gathered a golden energy ball in his hand and confidently said, "Witness the divine magic of the sword Qi sect." He stretched out his hands and more gigantic swords appeared, similar to the initial sword. He shouted the technique, Diagai 8 Swords of Thunderlin, and the sky brightened with the energy of the swords. Tiu then still stood still, observing the situation. From above, Tan Ba arrogantly pointed at Tiu then and added to his divine decree and my secret art. Even the most powerful high-ranking disciples would not dare to oppose him. He shouted, "Immortal lords, die." At the same time, the 8 gigantic swords rushed towards Tiu Than. Facing the 8 swords rushing towards him, Tiu Than didn't even pay attention. He coldly replied, "You are too weak, even your 2V is inferior to Quang Vo. At least he can break through my defense." While speaking coldly, Tiu Than suddenly felt an itch in his nose. He thought to himself, "It's normal for a human like me to sneeze." But his sneeze was peculiar. As soon as he sneezed, 3 smoke trails full of energy appeared. He sneezed again, creating an even stronger burst of energy. With just 2 sneezes, the 8 Dao of Tan Ba were shattered. Tan Ba was shocked and exclaimed, "I can't believe it." He trembled and his face turned pale. He muttered, "This can't be true." The onlookers were also shocked. One sneeze broke the Lin Loi sword, a monster that we couldn't defeat. Even Tan Nu Coc, who was enchanting, couldn't find words to describe what she witnessed. Tan Ba, filled with anger, clenched his teeth and stuttered, You. Tiu then coldly snorted. Tan Nu Coc, in a state of awe, was sweating profusely and thought, "This person looks like Jia Hua, his name is Tiu Than. Yes, it's him, no one else." Women's intuition is sharp. Facing Tiu Than, Tan Ba said, "Are you done attacking? Is it my turn now?" "No, this old fox won't have time to respond." Tiu Than instantly jumped, exerted force on his hand, and launched himself towards Tan Ba, cursing at him. Tan Ba, on the verge of death, still remained stubborn. He smiled with satisfaction and said that he would kill him before Tiu Than could. As soon as Tan Ba finished speaking, Tiu Than sensed something unusual happening. He wondered what it was. Suddenly, a red sword, emitting a black and furious aura, rushed down from the sky. This sword arrived in time to block Tiu Than's attack towards Tan Ba. Tan Ba, seeing the approaching sword, dodged Tiu Than's strike and smiled with satisfaction. Before Tiu Than could react, the sword, filled with black fury, pierced his heart. Tiu Than screamed in pain. Due to the immense force of the sword, Tiu Than was flung far away. After Tiu Than fell to the ground, he sarcastically thought, "It seems like the story is about to end, or maybe the author is playing with me while writing the story." After Tiu Than fell to the ground, Tai Thuong Trong Lao appeared and retrieved his sword. He said to Tan Ba, "You arrived late, Tong Chu. I don't even need to intervene since I have killed this person." Tai Thuong Trong Lao looked down from above and replied to the masked person, "This person was stabbed by me. Even if he doesn't die, he will be seriously injured." Suddenly, Tiu Than, who was lying on the ground, stood up. He exclaimed, "Oh, my author has resurrected my main character. I'm ready to file a complaint against the author for part 2. Tiu then stood up straight and touched the wound on his chest. The wound slowly disappeared. Tiu then felt something stable here. He wondered if the space had been distorted. The inner space of Tiu then's divine decree was currently undergoing cultivation. Surrounding the divine decree was a circle of bright golden energy. There were strands of dark energy gradually approaching the golden sphere. Tiu then felt the power and energy engulfing these dark energies. He felt the momentum and energy absorbing these dark energies. Outside, Tiu then snorted as the wound on his chest slowly disappeared. Tan Ba witnessed this and was slightly shocked. He said, "Not bad. But you can only stand up. This second sword will definitely kill you." After saying that, Tai Thuong Trong Lao vanished into nothingness. Tiu then felt something strange happening. He thought, has the author manipulated the storyline? Suddenly, Tai Thuong Trong Lao's sword flew towards Tiu then again, this time with even greater power than before. Tiu then retreated. Tai Thuong Trong Lao's strike was extremely powerful, and the sword was only a hand's distance from Tiu then. Immediately, the guardian created a shield to block the incoming sword. The people on the outside were also affected by the collision of the sword and the guardian's shield. They raised their hands to cover their faces. The people of Luong were worried. Luong was grinding his teeth on his face and a drop of cold sweat fell. The previous strike of the Supreme Elder was extremely powerful, causing the guardian to retreat. After regaining his balance, the guardian took a deep breath and looked up at the Supreme Elder. The Supreme Elder at this time also recognized him, saying, "So you have joined the martial arts. No wonder the director acts like this." Nyat Tan Ba was very surprised and exclaimed, "This Fire Jia guy has already joined the martial arts. No wonder he is so arrogant." But then he smiled brightly as if he understood something. He laughed triumphantly. Then he pointed straight at the guardian's face and arrogantly said, "But even if you have joined the martial arts, it's just a beginner's level. Today, you will definitely die under the sword of the Supreme Elder." The guardian casually brushed his cold arm and said with some interest, "It seems that relying on Thuong Kung Hong alone is not enough to win. But now I don't have any other martial arts that can defeat him." The Supreme Elder looked at the guardian and evaluated. The guardian now looked serious and coldly continued, "If that's the case, let me stop everything. You should feel honored because what will happen next in your life can only happen once." As soon as the guardian finished speaking, he created swirling purple energy around him. Then the guardian stretched out his arms and shouted loudly. The purple energy inside the guardian burst out. In the eyes of the guardian, behind the mask, a flash of purple light appeared. He thought that people only knew that my martial arts are dominant. All the martial arts are invincible. But they fundamentally don't know that the strongest martial arts cultivator is the simplest one. At this moment, the guardian spread out his arms, and the purple energy was abundant around his body. A great movement was happening and rocks fell from above. On the side, the Supreme Elder also began to take action. He summoned many swords, and his appearance at this time was very casual. "Let me show you how powerful I am." A yellow energy enveloped the swords he summoned. Then all the swords summoned by the Supreme Elder changed their direction towards the guardian and rushed towards him. The guardian was now surrounded by a purple energy. The guardian deftly dodged the continuous attacks from the swords. These swords are too powerful. They continuously attacked his legs and body, but luckily with his superior martial arts skills, the guardian easily avoided them. Then the guardian used his foot to kick the broken swords. This is a kick, and this is a punch. The guardian used his own punch to smash the swords. The guardian used his fists and feet to easily smash the swords of the Supreme Elder. The Supreme Elder didn't know what to do and just stood there watching. The guardian lightly broke the swords with his own strength, thinking in his head, all the techniques in the world come from the same source. The sky is the head, the earth is the feet, the body is the body, and the person is the power that can break gods and creatures. It is martial arts. The guardian used a final punch to break the last sword, causing it to shatter and fall to the ground. The guardian's body was like a thunderbolt. After all the swords of the Supreme Elder were shattered, the guardian said coldly, "It's been a long time since I acted so fiercely with my bones and muscles." The Supreme Elder saw this and pondered. Then the Supreme Elder calmly said to the guardian, "You are a martial arts cultivator." The guardian heard this and replied unexpectedly, "You still have a bit of perception." The Supreme Elder heard this and laughed loudly, revealing his thin teeth. Then, with great confidence, the Supreme Elder pointed towards the guardian and cursed, "You ignorant fool, you think you can be proud of martial arts. You are nothing more than a waste who can't condense spiritual power. You had no choice but to turn to martial arts. And yet you dare to be so arrogant." Immediately, the Supreme Elder cursed at the Guardian, speaking at the speed of lightning. He stood in front of the Guardian, boasting, "Let me show you how powerful my martial arts cultivation is." Immediately, the Supreme Elder moved behind the Guardian. He continued speaking, "Even you, a martial arts cultivator, cannot be a match for someone who possesses spiritual power." The Guardian heard this and turned around coldly with a snort. Then the Guardian, with a powerful kick, struck towards the Supreme Elder from behind. But the latter remained unfazed. This confused the Guardian a bit, so he quickly retracted his leg. The Supreme Elder confidently said to the Guardian, "My spiritual power is air. It can not only make you unable to defend, but it can also enhance the power of my Kung Bo style. Speaking of which, let me demonstrate how strong my spiritual power is." Then the Supreme Elder extended his hand and formed a circle with his palm. A large amount of energy emanated from the air and pushed the Guardian away. The Guardian was taken aback and pushed back by the energy accumulated from the air. The Supreme Elder grinned and made a circle around him, emitting a very strong energy. The Guardian was passive, overwhelmed by the energy circle formed by the Supreme Elder. He barely regained his balance when the old man struck him from behind with lightning-fast speed. The latter continued speaking, "Although I stepped into the martial arts halfway, I gained insights into the heavenly path, which is space. This power perfectly suits my spiritual power." As the virtuous spirit was falling freely, he still couldn't regain his balance. This old man with missing teeth instantly disappeared and reappeared behind the virtuous spirit again, intending to attack him by surprise. He said confidently, "Now I want to torment you to death. I acknowledge that you have a strong cultivation level. If your opponent is a cultivator in a different realm, he would not be your match." This old man with missing teeth gently struck a punch, causing the virtuous spirit to be thrown into the air. The old man continued with a malicious tone, "But unfortunately, you encountered me." Wherever the virtuous spirit was thrown, this old man with missing teeth appeared there. He continued to relentlessly attack the virtuous spirit. The three melodious musicians were extremely pleased. They laughed cheerfully, and one of them sneered, "Heavenly deities, you can go your own way." In contrast to the joy of the melodious musicians, the disciples of the Taoist sect were extremely worried. They could only exclaim, "Heavenly deity, senior." This old man with missing teeth was preparing to strike again. He struck his hand gently, but the power generated from that strike was immense. It once again hit the virtuous spirit and threw him away. The old man with missing teeth raised his voice and said, "Based solely on your cultivation level, you can only be toyed with in the palm of my hand." Immediately after that strike, he created a sword from the air. He controlled these swords to attack the virtuous spirit. He also sarcastically remarked, "Aren't you a powerful individual? Why haven't you retaliated yet?" Only now did the virtuous spirit start to dodge the sword chi attacks from the old man with missing teeth. The virtuous spirit said, "I'm dodging." After dodging the sword chi attacks from the old man with missing teeth, the virtuous spirit lightly landed on the ground. The virtuous spirit raised his hand and continued to provoke, "Senior, unleash even more sword chi attacks." This old man with missing teeth stood to the side, spinning and controlling the sword chi. He was extremely pleased as he said, "This move is the 8th rank skill in martial arts, Yu Ming's sword technique. No one can escape. Dying under one of my moves is also an honor for you for 3 lifetimes." The air that he was controlling suddenly transformed into ferocious dragons, which were aimed to attack the virtuous spirit. Outside, Don Su Luong witnessed everything and gnashed his teeth, saying how treacherous and despicable the technique was. The disciples of the sword sect also broke out in a cold sweat, thinking how powerful Senior was, but this move was too sinister. Nonetheless, they admired the dominance of the heavenly deity. The dragons formed from the air gradually became more ferocious as they surrounded the virtuous spirit. However, he stood still without taking any action. This old man with missing teeth swiftly moved his hand forward and shouted, "Die." Immediately, his manifestation transformed into a gigantic sword, aiming at the virtuous spirit as it charged forward. After colliding with the virtuous spirit, a loud explosion occurred. The giant sword of the old man with missing teeth was embedded deeply in the ground, scattered into debris and dust. The old man with missing teeth felt amazed and couldn't believe what he saw. Even a drop of sweat dripped from his mouth, revealing his missing teeth. The virtuous spirit stood tall and firm there. With a single finger raised towards the sky, the powerful sword of the old man shattered. This move of the virtuous spirit made one think of the saying, raising a finger to the sky, unparalleled hatred towards life, prostrating and lying on the pillow in pretense. It was astonishingly powerful. After shattering the sword of the Supreme Elder with a single blow, the virtuous spirit sighed with regret. I didn't expect you to use such treacherous martial arts. What a waste, he said, looking down at the broken pieces. The virtuous spirit then looked straight into the old man's face and said confidently, although your attack power is weak and couldn't hurt me, you're still a cultivator advancing into the realm of harmony. You have comprehended the laws of heaven and earth. If you always rely on these principles, I wouldn't even be able to touch you for half an hour. Regrettably, you chose to use such a poisonous martial art technique. As the virtuous spirit said this, he gazed downward at the shattered pieces on the ground. The virtuous spirit then pointed directly at the old man's face and said, although your attacking power is weak, it can't hurt me. However, as a cultivator advancing into the realm of harmony, you should have grasped the principles of heaven and earth. If you always rely on these tactics, I won't be able to do anything to you for even half an hour. Disappointed in their previous actions, the virtuous spirit began reminiscing about the past. He remembered the time when he was dominant, and even when he encountered lower-level cultivators like 2V, who had a humble cultivation level but an extraordinary demeanor, they still impressed him. Seeing that the situation in front of him was not favorable, the old man with missing teeth retreated. This old man with missing teeth clenched his teeth and fists and said, "You're playing tricks on me." The virtuous spirit responded confidently, "Luckily, I understood a little. In my mind, I thought. Fortunately, the divine destiny inside me contains the power of the Lei Ding level of cultivation. Otherwise, my strategy during these critical moments wouldn't be effective against him." The disciples of the Van Mon sect, seeing the heavenly deity winning against the Supreme Elder with missing teeth, celebrated and shouted, "Heavenly deity, heavenly deity, heavenly deity." They were no different from fanatics of the virtuous spirit. Even Don Su Luong felt delighted and said, "Indeed, Senior is formidable. Even the defense of the Supreme Elder couldn't withstand it." Observing the unfavorable situation, the old man with missing teeth discussed with the Tan Ba musicians. Although his physical body is strong, it's still just flesh and blood. Wait a moment, I will use spatial power to trap him. You all gather together with our elders and secretly attack him. The poison created by our elder at this moment can take effect. This old man seems cunning and wicked, thinking of nothing but plotting to attack the virtuous spirit. Neok Tan Ba listened to the discussion and clenched his teeth in agreement. That's a good idea. They decided to proceed in that way. Then, both of them looked towards the virtuous spirit. The virtuous spirit, with his sharp hearing, heard everything they said. He thought to himself that they would surely be surprised. At this moment, the virtuous spirit calmly crossed his arms in front of his chest and stared straight at the two old men. In his mind, he thought, "This is my plan, but I will still use it." In the past few years, the spiritual essence of cultivators in the lower realm has deteriorated to this extent. Feeling a little disappointed with his thoughts of the past glory, the virtuous spirit sighed deeply. He remembered the time when he was renowned in the world. Even though cultivators with lower-level sects had lower cultivations, their demeanor was praiseworthy. While the virtuous spirit was lost in his thoughts, the Supreme Elder with missing teeth approached him from the Tan Ba musician's location and said, "Let's continue our fight." The translation may not be perfect, as it is difficult to capture the exact nuances and tones of the original language. At this moment, Tiu then has returned to reality. He is stretching his limbs to prepare for his fight with the old fox. Immediately after, the Supreme Grand Master begins to gather and form an energy ball composed of purple lightning surrounded by blue energy sources. The old fox creates a cage that surrounds Tiu then, leaving him astonished. Tiu then wonders what this is. Then, Tiu then unexpectedly looks down at his feet. The space beneath him has been distorted into a slimy substance, trapping him. The Supreme Grand Master casually manipulates the distorted space and says, "I have distorted the space under your feet, so now you cannot escape." After that, the Supreme Grand Master loudly orders the disciples of the Sword Spirit sect to attack. The disciples of the Sword Spirit sect immediately jump up high and direct their energy towards Tiu Than. The members of the Tan Vanguard are extremely surprised and angry. Leng Tu scolds, "How shameless! Let's fight." Tiu then immediately turns back towards the members of the Tan Vanguard and glares at them. Seeing this, Ling Tu understands Tiu Than's intention and orders the members of the Tan Ban Gate to hold back and let the seniors resolve the situation. Nyan Tan Ba smirks and provocatively says, "Another idiot who wants to show off his bravery." The Supreme Grand Master stands silently without saying anything. Immediately, 3 strange orbs are released from Nyan Tan Ba's hand, with swirling patterns and small lightning bolts. The 3 orbs are launched with great force, creating small lightning bolts around them. To their surprise, the 3 orbs suddenly disappear into thin air. Tiu then, surprised, looks around and doesn't see the 3 orbs anywhere. Suddenly, the orbs reappear right behind him. From the orbs, toxic black smoke begins to emit. The black smoke spreads throughout the space where Tiu Than is standing. Tiu Than realizes it is poisonous and covers his nose and mouth. The members of the Tan Ban Gate become furious at Nyan Tan Ba's shameless tactics and curse at him. They decide to stop attacking. The disciples of the Sword Spirit sect continue to attack Tiu Than with all their strength, ignoring the curses. They believe that as long as they win, anything goes. They are nothing but shameless people who use any means to win. Where is justice? Where is fairness? In the end, justice is just a name for artists. Lam Bok, standing next to Lang Tu, sees the situation is not good and anxiously asks, "Master, can you fight the Supreme Grand Master?" Lang Tu, with utmost confidence in the Supreme Grand Master, replies, "Rest assured." But deep inside, he is also extremely worried. There is a drop of sweat on his forehead as he thinks that the Supreme Grand Master must win. Seeing his disciples gaining the upper hand, the old fox, with a wide grin, says, "You are doomed. This poison can instantly drain all your energy and make you weak like mud. Ha ha ha, accept your death." Below, the distorted space keeps Tiu Than trapped, while above, toxic smoke surrounds him. Tiu Than uses his hand to dispel the toxic smoke. After that, Tiu Than stands upright, preparing to use the Heavenly Emperor's fist technique. Immediately, an immensely powerful strike is launched. A giant fist surrounded by red energy heads straight towards the disciples of the Sword Spirit sect. A fierce collision occurs, causing the disciples of the Sword Spirit sect to be unable to react in time. They all get hit and cry out in pain. Even Nyan Tan Ba and the Supreme Grand Master are affected by this strike from Tiu Than. Nyan Tan Ba uses both hands to support himself and also cries out. Then, Nyan Tan Ba and the disciples of the Sword Spirit sect are thrown away. They are shocked and Nyan Tan Ba shouts, "Ah, ah, ah. It can't be. Even though I received only half of the technique, how can you still fight back?" The Tan Ban Gate members, witnessing Nyan Tan Ba's shameless action, become extremely angry and curse at him. They stop attacking, saying, "Enough. You use poison too." The disciples of the Tan Ban Gate are still attacking Tiu Than with their strength, thinking that as long as they can win, it doesn't matter what curses they receive. They are just vile people who use every means to win. Where is justice? Where is fairness? In the end, justice is just a name for artists. Lam Bok, standing next to Lang Tu, sees the situation is not good and anxiously asks, "Master, can you fight the Supreme Grand Master?" Lang Tu, with utmost confidence in the Supreme Grand Master, replies, "Rest assured." But deep inside, he is also extremely worried. There is a drop of sweat on his forehead as he thinks that the Supreme Grand Master must win. Realizing that his disciples are in a dominant position, the old fox, with broken words, says, "You are surely doomed. This poison can disable you in an instant. Surrender and become my subordinate." Unfortunately, it's too late, old fox. At this moment, Tiu Than's technique is almost upon you. Tiu Than exclaims, "Ha!" The surrounding area is engulfed by a glowing red energy. Tiu Than's eyes also shine brightly. The little Tiu Than inside begins emitting a tremendous amount of energy and shouts loudly. At this point, Tiu Than and his little Tiu Than merge as one. Their eyes blaze with red energy. Tiu Than shouts, "Witness the true power of the Heavenly Emperor's fist." Tiu Than opens his hands, creating a swirling vortex of red energy that turns into flames, reaching the sky. The Supreme Grand Master witnesses this with great astonishment. The old fox stammers, amazed that such a technique can affect the heavens and the earth. Immediately, this technique strikes towards the old fox. He screams in vain, realizing defeat, "Stop. I surrender. I am willing to submit." But it's too late, old fox. This technique from Tiu Than is already close to you. In an instant, a powerful force touched the old cunning fox and made him scream in agony. This power was incredibly powerful, causing everyone to be thrown away. Only those with high cultivation could resist it, but it was still extremely difficult. At this moment, Duke Tuo Luong also struggled to withstand the impact of this power. He was sweating and gritting his teeth, trying to endure. He exclaimed with terrifying strength. The Supreme Elder was directly hit by this power, still screaming in agony. His clothes were being torn apart by this energy. After a while, the dust settled and everyone stood firm. Tiu Thien was still in the same position, using his powers. As for Duke Tuo Luong, his clothes were ripped apart by the recent attack. At this moment, Tiu Thien lowered his clenched fist and took a breath. The dazzling light made his body glow. Tiu Thien took a step closer to Duke Tuo Luong, causing him to involuntarily take a step back. Then, Tiu Thien pointed his index finger at Duke Tuo Luong's forehead, making the old fox tremble in fear. In just a second, the body of Duke Tuo Luong turned into dust. Soon, the intact body of Duke Tuo Luong turned into emptiness. Tiu Thien thought to himself that after this consolidation period, he could unleash the true power of the Heavenly Emperor's authority. But now, his own body had reached its limit. Tiu Thien clenched his fist tightly, but this clenched fist felt strange. His hand was sweating as if it had taken a bath. Tiu Thien stood there, looking at Duke Tuo Luong disappearing into nothingness and the disciples of the Divine Swordwind lying defeated on the ground. He thought after this, he would have to meditate for a while. Don Tu Luong and the disciples of Tan Van Man were extremely happy about the victory of the celestial beings. They cheered and celebrated the victory. As for Nhac Tan Ba, he saw Duke Tuo Luong reduced to a mere trace and was sweating helplessly, calling out to him. He fell to the ground, his hands supporting his face, and muttered, "We are finished." At this time, the disciples of Tan Nu and the disciples of Mi Hun Coc were greatly affected by Tiu Thien's recent power. Tan Nu seemed to admire him very much. Her face turned red as she closed her eyes and held Tiu Thien's hand to her chest, thinking about his majestic and powerful appearance. In her mind, it was amazing to be able to worship such a powerful person. Blushing, she would close her eyes and hold his hand, thinking about the shape of Tiu Thien's majestic and powerful appearance. In her mind, it was amazing to worship such a powerful person. At this moment, Tiu Thien clasped his hands behind his back and said confidently, "From now on, there is no more Divine Swordwind, no more Liat Du Tam, no more Mi Hun Coc. Only Tan Van Man remained." Duke Tuo Luong, with a downcast face, bowed his head in sadness and muttered to himself, "It's over." Hearing this, Don Tu Luong and the leader of Tan Van Man were very happy and laughed together. They said, "Excellent. Tan Van Man is getting closer to becoming the ruler of Thien Nguyen Tan." Suddenly, Tiu Thien seemed to sense something about to happen. He mumbled a sound. Immediately, Tiu Thien turned back and loudly asked, "Who is so powerful?" A man with long, yellow hair and a black band on his head looked very cunning. He was Fong Vo Dao. He approached with his hands clasped in front of him, confidently saying, "Ha ha ha, are you the famous Celestial Lord? Come, let's have a fight." As soon as he finished speaking, he stomped his foot and jumped up. With his divine speed, he appeared in front of Tiu Thien, still speaking with arrogance and ruthlessness. He said, "Oh, you must be the Celestial Lord. I can't wait for you anymore." Seeing that the Celestial Lord remained silent and said nothing, he raised his voice and urged Tiu Thien to fight. Seeing his impatience, a man with tied-up hair and a very dignified appearance stepped forward from behind and spoke to Fong. He said, "Sir, please wait. He can't hear you." His face was childish as he said this.